Welcome back to Pascalini Productions. If you caught my demo video, the Acme Pixel line, you probably heard me say that the board failure rate was suspiciously high. Through the end of the year, we had a number of boards fail and the fixtures began to pile up. We finally got some replacements shipped in, so today we're going to dive in, swap the affected board, pressure test the fixture, and return it to inventory. Let's head into the shop. The board failure occurs in the strobe rail. It is most noticeable when running some sort of dimmer effect. There will be an instance that will strobe randomly after the data has passed through. First thing we do is strip the covers off either end, as well as the backing plate on the locking mechanism side. Next, we can remove the strip that hides the top plate screws and proceed to remove all 9 top plate screws. With the top plate removed, we're ready to pull the front glass away. We have to be careful as there are 2 wires soldered to the copper strips at the bottom of the glass that control the frost effect. They run into the body of the fixture and the wire can be gently pulled with a pick to create some slack. Now that we have access to the LED plates, we can remove the affected plate held in with 14 screws. With the holding screws out, we can peel the board away from the fixture. We then need to free the board from the harness in the back, which, from the factory, are glued together. Be gentle and use a pick or a flat blade screwdriver to pull them out of the connector. With the board free, we can pull the thermal pad off the back. We can reuse this for the new installation. The boards are labeled A and B based on which side of the fixture they belong to. In this case, we're replacing board A. We're going to snap our new board A away from its counterpart and replace our thermal pad. Now we're ready for reinstallation. This part can be tricky. It's easiest to pin the smaller harness in first, then work the larger harness into its connector with a pick, coming back with a flat blade screwdriver to push the bus down and ensure you've made the connection. With those connected, we can reinstall the holding screws. Earlier, we mentioned the 2 wires running through the body connected to the copper strips at the bottom of the glass, and if you're a big dumb brute like me, you probably ripped them off, but don't worry, you can easily resolder them back on. With the wires reattached, we can replace the glass, but be aware, if those wires have too much slack, they will curve up and into the path of the LEDs. Make sure to push the slack down below the bottom line of the LEDs, or if you really want, you can remove the back cover and pull the slack back through the body of the fixture. Once the glass is back in place, we can replace the top cover and all of the other body panels. The last step to this process is to pressure test or vacuum test the fixture. Since it's an IP rated light, we need to maintain the integrity of the seals in order to keep that IP rating. This proprietary tester can be purchased from Acme. This fixture failed its pressure test the first time around, so I'm going to spray it with soapy water and look for any bubbles that indicate leaks. I didn't find any on the front of the fixture that I just worked on, so I checked my hose connection as well as the power supply cover screws and found those were a bit loose. After tightening those down, the fixture passed its IP test and it's ready for its next show. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments, smash that like button, and be sure to subscribe.